Well, it's April the 8th. I hope you're enjoying this month talking about imagination. Make sure you share this with someone today. Make sure you send this to someone else that you've got to check this out. If you don't get the daily, well, you're one of the very few people in the world. Well, you don't have to tell them that, but I think they should be getting the daily. So share it with someone else today. We were talking about visualization yesterday, and some people think it's a new age thing or the imagination, but it's in the Bible. It's not a new age thing. It's a God thing. He's the author and gives us the power of visualization, and he has sanctioned the process all throughout the Bible. In the Old Testament, you'll notice God brought a clarity to Abraham to the dream through the use of visualization. He told Abraham to leave his kindred and his home and to travel to a new land that God would give to him and his descendants forever. So Abraham did what God told him to do. He traveled to the land of Canaan. And like all people, Abraham grew discouraged and impatient when he wasn't seeing the provision that God promised as fast as he wanted it to, or fast enough in his life. At that time, Abraham didn't have a single descendant. So he couldn't see how this promise of God to give him possibly was going to become a reality, empathizing with the tension between Abraham's faith and Abraham's difficulty with the present realities of life. He was 100 years old, expecting to have children. God took Abraham outside of his tent and said, look up in the sky. And you can read the whole story in Genesis 15. He looked up in the heavens and said, count the stars, if indeed you can count them. Said God told Abraham, that's how many offspring you're going to have, your children, as many as the stars in the heaven, the grains of sand, they're too numerous to count. So God used the imaginary images of stars and sand to help Abraham strengthen a vision within his heart. And that was, it was growing a little bit weak due to the negative impact of circumstances. I think we've all had that happen before. How is this ever going to happen? When is it ever? God, you promised. Apparently, Abraham had already written down the promise that God made to him. Who else could have passed to subsequent generations the information that about Abraham's private life that's all recorded in the book of Genesis if he hadn't written it down? But with this amazing introduction to visualization, Abraham got a clearer picture of his future. He began to see it, and you can see it too. Join me tomorrow. I want to talk to you a little bit about Jesus and the power of visualization.